Manx Radio's Update with Andy Wint.
Thanks to my good evening. It's 5:30. This is Update for Friday, 10th of May 2024 from Manx Radio. 30 minutes looking at the latest news on the island. Background to that news, sport and business and travel updates on the newsmakers in person this evening. No TT debut for our new ferry terminal. No financial gap, says the Treasury Minister. New security at the airport could mean delays. All change for TT parking in 2 weeks. The Manx Youth Games on tomorrow. We got delays at Ronaldsway, delays on the boats, and road closures tonight for the Manx Rally.
Man Benham for all your business and legal needs.
But first of all, at 29 minutes ahead of 6 o'clock, the Update News headlines. First to my Christian Jones.
First to my TT visitors won't be coming to the Isle of Man via the new Liverpool Ferry Terminal this year after its opening has been delayed. The steam packet is understood to be continuing with berthing trials, which started in March. New security measures are being rolled out at Ronaldsway Airport, meaning there's likely going to be more random checks on passengers. We're being warned it could mean slight delays getting through security. And it's 127 years to the day since one of the island's most devastating tragedies. The Snaefell mine disaster claimed the lives of 20 men on the 10th of May 1897. In international news, a man convicted of the murder of a police officer in Bradford in 2005 will spend a minimum of 40 years behind bars. Piran Ditakan, who's 75, masterminded an armed robbery in which PC Sharon Beshanevsky was fatally shot. The UK Prime Minister says new figures suggest the UK economy has real momentum. Official data shows it expanded by 0.6% between January and March. And a vicar and retired biology teacher, both in their 80s, have attacked the glass case around the Magna Carta legal document in the British Library, claiming the UK government is breaking its own laws. They were protesting for Just Stop Oil. Those are the Update News headlines, next at 6.
Secure tomorrow today with Man Benham's guidance on powers of attorney and more. Manx Radio weather with Manx Glass and Glazing.
Goromaya, thank you, Christian. From the Ronaldsway Met Office, there is no wind warning in operation for the North Irish Sea. It's almost flat calm, smooth or slight. Sea state this evening dry with hazy sunshine, quite some blue sky as well, light southeasterly breeze, and down to 12 through the night. For Saturday, sunny spells, a light east or southeasterly breeze, top temperature 20 Celsius, dry overnight into sunny, minimum 13. And for Jaduni, variable cloud, a risk of showers on a southeasterly breeze, up to 17 Celsius. Monday's going to bring showers. Tides on the way out, low water 13 minutes past 8 tonight, sunsets at 8 minutes past 9, the late high water 7 minutes after 2 a.m, sunrise 21 minutes after 5, and the morning low tide at 8:30.
Manx Glass and Glazing are proud to be an approved contractor with Construction Isle of Man. Call the team on 674 573 or visit the showroom on the Snugborough Trading Estate.
You heard it. The new Liverpool Ferry Terminal won't be ready in time for TT. The opening's been delayed again. The story from Amy Griffiths.
Work on the facility began in 2019 and has been blighted with delays and soaring costs ever since. It had originally been planned to be completed in 2020 and cost around £30 million. 4 years later, and it's still not ready, and the total cost is now going to be at least £70 million. Government says it wants to ensure a smooth transition to the new terminal and avoid the busiest time of year for the tourism industry. Berthing trials, which began in March, are still taking place and are expected to continue over the coming weeks. These trials are said to be a mandatory safety procedure, which will help the steam packet's captains to become accustomed to the new berth in various different states of tide, river and weather conditions. Infrastructure Minister Tim Crookall says it's vital that staff become accustomed to the new surroundings and procedures, and that the operational requirements of the steam packet and its staff are taken into full consideration. operation. He says waiting until after TT is the correct decision in the interests of continuity and passenger safety. Meanwhile, Steam Packet Managing Director Brian Thompson says safety is their priority as they continue performing the required trials and training.
The Treasury Minister's rebutted claims of a financial gap threatening government spending plans. The political alliance between backbench MHKs Claire Christian, Julie Edge and Chris Thomas has made the claim, suggesting it's going to be difficult for government to achieve the Ireland Plan aims if the budget isn't aligned with the goals set out in it. But Dr Allenson, MHK, admits there are financial problems, but they are being dealt with.
I think at this year's budget and last year's budget, I've been quite clear about the state of the Manx economy and the state of public finances, which is why we brought in a temporary tax increase this year to bridge what is absolutely defined as a healthcare funding gap and treat that properly and make sure we've got a long-term funding plan for our NHS. But actually, if you go through the details, not only the budget but also the audited government accounts, you can see a medium-term strategy to bring public finances back into order, reduce the dependency on reserves, and actually invest in the Ireland Plan. And we're doing that at the moment in terms of the childcare strategy, the extending the preschool credits, the investment we've done through the Economic Strategy Board. There's a lot of things going on. So whilst there are serious problems in terms of government finances and prioritising that and getting value for money for the taxpayer, I don't believe that this is an issue that hasn't already been mentioned and isn't already being addressed by this government. I've been absolutely honest with both Tynwald and the Manx public of both of the last budgets in terms of showing the significant issues that we're facing now with inflation, particularly wages, but also energy costs. But we know that inflation is going down. It's now 3.2% on our island. It will continue to reduce. What we've also dealt with is obviously the pressures both during COVID and also the economic pressures with the war in the Ukraine. But we are getting past those now, and now is the time to invest in the people and the services.
The Isle of Man in 30 minutes. Update on Manx Radio with Andy Wint.
That's the my 23 minutes before 6. New security measures at the airport mean there's likely to be more random checks on passengers, and we're being warned it could mean delays getting through security. Airport Director Gary Cobb says they're part of a string of changes they're hoping to put in place.
This is probably something that people have seen across where there's new security regulations and equipment coming in. Heathrow, Gatwick, Manchester are all moving to C3, which is like the CT scanners where you can keep your electrics and your liquids in. We won't be going to that yet for a couple of reasons. One is, in order to do that, we would have to do some form of terminal redevelopment. The new equipment is quite heavy and the floor wouldn't be able to cope with it. The second is we would have to go out and secure the budget in order to do that for both the terminal redevelopment and the new equipment. And then the third reason being that the supply chain is quite congested at the moment for getting that kit. So even if we were to go out today with an order, it's going to be probably at least 14 months before it would arrive, and then we would have to install it, etc. So again, it's something that as an airport team, I think we see the benefit of it, but we'll have to convince Tynwald that it's the right thing to do, and then there'll have to be a project of going through. But it's not something that I think would be in place for the next couple of years. I don't think it will have too much of an impact on TT. The staff are aware we're currently managing it, but yes, as part of the upgrade in terms of C1, some of our random checks will increase, so you may find yourself being subject to more checks. And again, all I can sit there and say is, and we'll put some comms out about this, of making sure that you remove your electrics, making sure you remove your liquids, and then complying to whatever security asks to make it go as quick and painlessly as possible.
Hundreds of island youngsters are expected to be involved in the 2024 Manx Youth Games taking place in Douglas tomorrow. It'll include no fewer than 13 sports for young people to take part in. Gareth Lloyd of Manx Sport and Recreation says the event's about creating a good social environment for children.
That's what we try and aim for. It's to get children in an environment where they feel part of something, go and make new friends, go and just being active whilst doing it. We see different issues young people can have, not just physically but mentally, so it's for the well-being of the child altogether. And we don't really say go and do sport, it's just trying to keep them active or doing something active. It's an opportunity for sports to get new participants within the sport as well. Again, we try and provide them for the platform by taking barriers out the way for the sports, funding, facilities, etc., and basically give them a new generation of participants, basically. So we vary from ages year 2 all the way up to year 10 in the activities what we offer, but the sports sports dictate what age group they're looking for or trying to grow, and it's just try to give them as much help and support as we can so we can keep sport on the island growing. Not just participants, but we try and aid the new generation of coaches coming through too by giving them access to free safeguarding, first aid qualifications. A lot of sports use young leaders as well as qualified coaches just to get them involved from that side. Normally young participants who are getting into the teens, early 20s, and try and encourage them to help out the sport in different ways. It's the sports as a whole what we try and help and encourage and grow. It's not just the participation in people playing the sports. We try and give the sports as much support as we can after the games as well, publicise where people can go after the games. Obviously, like I said before, it's trying to get children involved on a weekly basis, and hopefully they enjoy the sports long enough from January up until now to make it a permanent fixture in the social calendar.
The Nation Station, Manx Radio.
Peel commissioners have confirmed the sailing club will have its lease taken back, but not until 2027 when the current one expires. But the sailing club claims the local authority didn't speak to them prior to the decision. Here's our local democracy reporter Emma Draper with the story.
The commissioners say it had to approach the government for a long lease in 2007, which now expires in 2027. In a statement, it says the lease was given primarily because the marina was being built and it would provide facilities for sailors and yachtsmen. It's also confirmed that the building will be taken back to do maintenance work, including electrical and plumbing. Chair Christine Muckton says the board will be going through the usual tender process once it has been refurbished.
We own the building, we own the old police station, which is in Crown Street, the laundrette and the toilets. So when we look at the bigger picture, that's quite a vast area that we own. Obviously, the Sailing Club have been there for some 21 years now, I believe. As you know, their lease is due up in 2027. And now the commissioners feel that they would like to have a look at the whole area to see what development we could do there, which is advantageous to the town. To the residents of Peel, we have a duty. Obviously, they're the ratepayers. And like I said, the commissioners feel, and like I said, it's 2 years away yet, and that's why we have informed the Sailing Club that we won't be renewing their lease, because we really need to see what we have got and how we can redevelop it to make it better.
The Sailing Club said in a statement that it's extremely disappointed that the lease isn't being renewed. It also says they've not had contact with the commissioners prior to the decision and haven't given the club a reason.
Manx Radio Business Briefing.
At 17 minutes before 6, BA owner IAG says it's well positioned for the summer after posting a huge rise in first quarter profit on the back of strong leisure travel demand, especially over the Easter holidays. Chief Exec Louis Gallego said the transformation initiatives and increased demand, including over the Easter holidays, delivered another very good set of results with improvements to both revenue and operating profits. And for a full daily market report, go to ramseycrookall.com. Amazon is launching an Irish version of its website next year, meaning customers in Ireland will no longer need to shop via the UK, the US or other European versions. Users based in Ireland will access the site via amazon.ie, allowing them to avoid customs charges and currency fees. Amazon say that it'll also shorten delivery times. More than 1,000 small and medium businesses in Ireland sell on Amazon, with SMEs generating sales of more than 150 million euros in export sales in 2022 alone. Amazon opened its first Irish distribution centre in Ireland in 2022, enabling it to offer one-day delivery to customers there on some products. The online retailer signed a 5-year deal with the Irish Postal Service and Post last year.
The Stock Market Report, brought to you by Ramsey Crookall.
UK and European markets closed higher. The dollar steadied after losing ground overnight, and global benchmark Brent moved lower. The numbers now from Ramsey Crookall. At the close in London, the FTSE 100's up 0.6%, 8,433. The DAX in Frankfurt up 0.4% at the close, 18,756. A short time ago in New York City, the Dow Jones Industrial up 0.1% at 39,428. The Nasdaq Tech Stocks Index down 0.2%, 16,313. In the exchange markets, the British pound sterling trading at $1 US dollar 25.2 cents, €1 16.2 cents. And in commodities, gold's up 0.75%, $2,363 per troy ounce, and a barrel of Brent crude currently down 1%, $83.25.
I'm running late again. Do you know where I put my car keys?
In the fridge.
Where's my phone?
Under the dog basket.
Bye.
You haven't forgotten that we're seeing Ramsay Crookall later?
Oh, no, of course not. 5 p.m, is it?
2:45.
I'll be there.
Life is busy. That's why Ramsay Crookall's team takes time to help you make a mindful investment decision, considering all the options, giving you full control of your financial future. Less stress, more assurance.
Forgot to put my shoes on.
See how we can make your money work for you. Call 717171 or visit ramsaycrookall.com. Licensed and regulated by the Isle of Man Financial Services Authority.
There's going to be a change this year for TT fans wishing to park at the grandstand, the paddock and the fan park. That story with Lewis Foster.
The area of Nobles Park by St Ninians will now only be open to motorcyclists, blue badge holders and those with hospitality tickets or designated passes. Meanwhile, fans arriving in their car will be asked to park on a new site in St George's by police headquarters. TT organisers say it follows a decision by Douglas Council to reduce the amount of space in Nobles Park they're permitted to use. A statement says all vehicle parking will remain free to use, and with a temporary traffic management system in place, visitors in cars wishing to access St George's car park are advised to do so by following the route along Victoria Road, turning up Victoria Avenue before continuing left onto Upper Dukes Road and then turning right into Dukes Avenue. You won't be able to access St George's car park via Glencrutchery Road though, as this section of the road will be closed throughout the duration of the TT, with access retained for police vehicles only. Permit holders and motorcycles will be able to access Nobles Park car park via St Ninians Road, where there will be a dedicated lane in place to minimise queues and the impact on other through traffic along St Ninians Road. Regardless of this year's changes, parking at the TT complex and around Nobles Park is always limited, so visitors are being encouraged to use public transport where possible. A taxi drop-off and pick-up point has also been introduced for this year. This will be situated in Nobles Park and accessible via the traffic flow from St Ninians Road.
Manx Radio Sport.
Fast am I, Rob Pritchard.
Fast am I. Good evening. Starting with football, and Peel have been crowned the winners of the 2024 Cowell Cup after a 2-1 win over Corinthians at the Bowl last night. The Westerners opened the scoring shortly after the half-hour mark as Ellis Dunn slotted home before Peel doubled their advantage 1 minute into the second half through Louis Roberts. With 14 minutes remaining, Corinthians gave themselves a lifeline when Declan Blake found the net, but Peel held on despite seeing Thomas Brown sent off in second half stoppage time. Elsewhere, the football action continues this weekend. On Saturday, it's the semi-finals of the Hospital Cup with Ayr United hosting Ramsey and Laxey at home to Peel. In Division 2, Foxdale could be crowned champions if they win at home to Governors Athletic. All of Saturday's League and Cup matches are due to get underway at 2:30pm. Rugby now, and 3 Isle of Man rugby players have been selected to be part of the Cheshire County team. Vagabonds ladies competitors Leona McGovern, Sophie Henry and Malin Campbell will represent the squad in the Jill Burns division. The Cheshire side's first match in the league will take place tomorrow at 2pm against Northumberland. Vagabonds Rugby Club says the selections showcase the strength of our local rugby community, and they are proud to represent the Isle of Man on the regional stage. In cycling, after a very successful last 2 days, it was a tougher one this afternoon for Mark Cavendish and Astana Kazakhstan on stage 3 of the Tour de Hongrie today. On a mountainous finish in which Cavendish wasn't expected to be competing at the front, Astana were unable to get a rider inside the top 10. So far at the event, Cavendish finished 6th on the opening day and went on to win stage 2 yesterday. And in golf, it's been a tough opening round for Manx Pro competitor Anna Dawson at the Aramco Team Series in her latest Ladies European Tour test. On the opening round at New Korea Country Club in Asia, Dawson shot a round of 6 over par, 10 shots off the pace of leader Hugh Joo Kim.
Manx Radio Travel, driven by Quayside Tyres and Service Centre.
Inbound at Ronalds Way, the 425 Loganair from Birmingham didn't touch down until just before 5:30. The 525 Loganair from Manchester won't be in until about now, 10 to 6. Then it's the 6:30 EasyJet from Gatwick showing on time at the moment. Inbound, the 725 Loganair from Edinburgh, 7:40 EasyJet from London Gatwick, the 5 to 8 Loganair from Liverpool returning patient transfer, and the 10 to 9 Loganair from London City. They're all showing on time. Outbound, the 5:30 Loganair to London City won't be going till 6 o'clock. The 6 o'clock Loganair to Liverpool at 6:20. The 6 o'clock EasyJet to Liverpool will be on time. 7 o'clock EasyJet to Manchester is showing on time. the 7:55 Logano to Edinburgh and the 8:10 EasyJet to Gatwick on time. The Millennium Bridge over the harbour is going to be closed tonight 8 through till 4 a.m. for repairs and maintenance. Hillside Avenue closed to Circular Road in Douglas for adjacent office window replacement. Part of Switzerland Road's closed till November for construction work. Temporary lights on New Road Laxey near the Lurgy-Graw junction for building alterations, and temporary lights on New Road 2 for building work. Temporary lights in St John's on the main road between St John's and Ballalease Bridge for work on the pavements. Lights at Sandygate Road for pavement work, and lights on Vicarage Road Braddon still for that water main replacement by Stephenson's Way roundabout. The Lafton Manor Hill near the Coolferran junction's got some lights for resurfacing. Phase closures on the Ballakill Ferrick Road for water main work. Phase closures on the Starvey Road for water main work. And the Condrockard Road in Andreas has phase closures for water main work too.
Ask how you can spread the cost interest-free at
Fastamai. For the first time, a farm on the Isle of Man is going to be judged for the Silver Lapwing Award, a top recognition of farm management and conservation across the UK. Ballagorn Farm in Colby is one of 5 regional finalists and will be visited by competition judges from UK Farming and Wildlife Advisory Group next week. Chairman of the Island branch is Paul Fletcher.
An awful lot of the support for wildlife on the island is the way that generations of Manx farmers have farmed, simply in a practical, positive way, but it has enhanced the biodiversity on the island. And as such, it is a way of recognising the good work that the generations, I mean, Rob and David Cool at Ballagorn are being judged this time, but, hopefully next year our current holders will be getting judged, again as a regional finalist. But they're quite simply an example of good practice that's going on across the island's farms. The judges have kindly agreed to do a talk, which is at 7:30 at Jackson's, up in the top showroom, and there'll be a talk, question answers, by the judges, really about farming and conservation, keeping the two hand in hand and getting the balance between, we've got the talk entitled Balancing Commercial Food Production with Support for Wildlife and Biodiversity, but to have two such eminent speakers on the Isle of Man that at the end of the day, they're practical farmers, but they are the leading edge of food production, but also sustainable agriculture and supporting nature and wildlife, and both passionate speakers. One is a livestock farmer, one is an arable farmer, so you're getting the best of both worlds there. But the opportunity is there for anyone to come, any members of the Manx public to come along and join us on that evening.
This is the most listened to Isle of Man news source, and Manx Radio's Update is the Isle of Man's most downloaded news podcast.
The Manx Rally is on today and tomorrow, and this evening the following roads will be affected. From 6 o'clock, the old Castletown Road around Kerristal, Santon and Port Sodrick. From 6:30, Balladool. From 7:15 till just before midnight around Ellerslie, and 8 p.m. until midnight 30. Watch out for Little London. Tomorrow, roads around Switchback, stretch of the Coast Road between Knocksherry and Kirkmichael, St Jude's, Reggaby, part of the Coast Road between Jerby and Bride, Ingebrek to Brandywell, and a stretch of the Druiddale Road. As far as the boats are concerned, Manxman left Heysham at 19 minutes to 3. She'll be in about 6:30 out tonight. At 9 o'clock, getting to Heysham at midnight 45. Manannan, the Fastcraft, left at 4 o'clock. She'll be into Liverpool, gone 7 o'clock. Back at 9 o'clock, arriving here at midnight 30. A Glenvine man has been fined after assaulting a paramedic and making a lewd gesture to another while drunk. Lee Derbyshire of Greba Avenue previously pleaded guilty to charges of provoking behaviour and common assault. Here's Sean Cowper.
An ambulance was called to Greba Avenue on the 4th of November last year after Derbyshire was found collapsed and lying on a neighbour's driveway. While being attended to by paramedics, the 57-year-old grabbed the crotch of one paramedic before making a sexual symbol towards another. The court heard Derbyshire couldn't remember the incident but accepted he was responsible. His advocate said Derbyshire has since written a letter of apology to both paramedics, telling the court no one is more ashamed of his behaviour than himself. Magistrates described his actions as unacceptable, but accepted that he has shown genuine remorse since the incident. Magistrates have ordered him to pay fines totalling £1,500 plus prosecution costs of £125.
More on the rallies. The island plays host to 2 days of intense four-wheel racing for the 2024 Manx Rally. Today and tomorrow has been another bumper entry for this year's event. Event director Mark Ellison explains why he thinks this continues to be a popular meeting on the British rallying calendar.
I would say it's down to the Isle of Man itself. well, and the people here. I mean, the roads are absolutely fantastic. And the best way for me to highlight that is to say that, and I don't know what the new modern term is, but they did a lot of rally videos. And the rally videos are the hits that they got on that there was nearly 2.4 million hits they got throughout all the rally championships, which in itself is significant. What is amazing is that 1.12 million of them were for the Isle of Man alone. So we got probably 46% of all the hits. Everybody wanted to see what the Isle of Man was doing. From recent years, we have had to increase the entry from 140, and bearing in mind that last year we had 129, and now we're raising it to 150, and the reason being we had 206 entries. Is that a rise in the popularity of rallying, or is it a rise of the popularity of the Isle of Man? And I would have to say the Isle of Man, because there is another event in a week's time called the Plains Rally, and they've had to cancel due to lack of entries, which is a very, very sad thing. But the Isle of Man's doing very well, and long may it continue. It's on and up, and it's nice to see some newbies out there as well from the Manx scene. It's really good. Many people will remember years ago, in and around the Rothmans years, it wasn't a British Rally Championship, it was in effect a World Rally Championship, although it wasn't called that. It was actually, as far as everyone was concerned, everybody used to come over. It's got fantastic heritage as the Isle of Man, and coupled to that, and the roads, you know, your Druidales, your Thalty Wills, and of course my favourite, the Baldwins. If you're interested in motorsport and you like things going fast in and around you, but safely of course, this is the thing to go out and watch. It is absolutely amazing.
Have a good time if you're watching it. That's it for Update Tonight, compiled from the resources of Manx Radio's news department. Thanks to newsreader Christian Jones, producer Amy Griffiths. After the news at 6, more sport with Rob Pritchard, Simon Clark with greatest hits, Howie Kane and some jazz at 9, and Update returns Monday evening at 5:30.
WINT